Bonjour, Bruno Larvol here, podcasting from Paris, France, with Sreedhar already joining us. This is the LARVOL CLIN podcast, where we are building in public our platform of cancer data. And we love the idea of sharing the features as we develop them, and also sharing sometimes the challenges and the successes that we have along the way. So if you're listening to us, please don't hesitate to interrupt or ask questions. And we will try to answer them as we can. Although I'm just realizing that this one is recorded, so you can do that, but we will not answer. So post your question on social media, and we will do our best to answer in due time. LARVOL is a company based in San Francisco. We are 150 associates, and our focus is cancer data intelligence, cancer data and AI. CLIN, the product we're talking about today, you can think about it as a Wikipedia for cancer data, a place where every single piece of data publicly known about cancer research is kept organized into a common data model. We have today with us Sreedhar already, who has worked with us for many, many years, both a wonderful friend and a key executive at LARVOL, head of product, and someone who's been involved at every level in building of CLIN. So Sreedhar, good to see you.
Thank you, Bruno. I'm glad to join you on this podcast.
So I'd like to start by saying a few general things about the topic today, and then I'll pass the baton to you, and we're going to give a demo about
Yeah,
the influencer tab, which you can share already if you'd like on the screen. So as I mentioned, CLIN is the place where every single piece of publicly known data about cancer research is clinical research. So obviously, that's a lot of data. Every single Kaplan-Meier curve, every single hazard ratio, every single response rate, adverse event, baseline characteristics of trials, everything is there. We'll, in a different episode, give you a tour of some of these functionalities. But there is another feature that we've built over the last couple of years, and it's a panel of influencer. So it's a tab called influencer here at the top of CLIN. And by the way, CLIN has a free version for non-commercial use. So if you go to larvolclin.com, you can experience, again, for non-commercial use, this. So what we did is that we identified nearly 5,000 digital opinion leaders on X, on Twitter. So the criteria for us has been, number one, they needed to be an oncologist. And number two, they needed to be active on X. So you could see right away that the definition of key opinion leader is a little loose. Maybe the first 50 to 100 fit the traditional definition of KOL, digital opinion leaders, and the long tail perhaps do not have that level of influence. And we profile them, and we are essentially monitoring all of the commentaries they make about clinical trial, and that allows us to enrich our analysis of clinical trial. And I'm going to pass the baton to you, Sreedhar, and feel free to give any general color to the feature. And even before we spend time on the profiles of all of these digital opinion leaders, it might actually be valuable to show ASCO or ESMO and show how analyzing all of these commentaries allows us to really provide a lot of context for the data presented at ESMO, if we take the case of the recent Barcelona conference. So this is something we're the only one in the industry who've been able to do, which is to provide a objective analysis of the impact of the data released, because it's not Sreedhar and Bruno's opinion about these trials. It's actually that panel of 5,000 oncologists commenting on each of these data disclosures at ESMO. So I always find it fascinating how all of these commentaries provide really a story about each data disclosure. And of course, if you click on them, you get all the commentaries from our digital opinion leaders. And some of you who listened to previous episode, this is episode 6 today, I've seen that graph before. But before we can generate uh, that context, that commentary, what we need to do is to identify the panel of 5,000 DOLs. And that's a feature that we're going to discuss in the rest of our time. So I'm gonna let you continue the description, Sreedhar, of that feature.
Sure, Bruno. Yeah. So, as you mentioned, Bruno, we handpicked about 5,000 influencers or DOLs that we are tracking and curating. Um, and we chose to do all of it manually for the reason that it's not easy to pick the top TOLs based on a certain logic. You could find a lot of applications that may show like these are the top influencers. But in our case, since we're focusing in a niche area specific to oncology, what we've been doing is like we have a team of analysts whose job is to continue to comb through uh, the social media and pick the top deals based on the profile, based on the kind of posts, and based on how active these deals are on social media. So that's how we come up with this small universe of 5,000, yes, of 5,000 influencers, or what we call as DOLs. So once we
Uh,
profile these DOLs, yeah, good.
I know maybe that's what you were about to say. We have actually a very elaborate scoring system
Yes.
to rank, to score and rank these digital opinion leaders. Perhaps you could share the details of that methodology, because I know you and uh, Sandeep and others spent a lot of time developing that methodology.
Let me get into that methodology. And before getting into methodology, I just want to uh, speak about one point. So, whatever digital opinion leaders that you see on this page, that's about 5,000 long tail. Uh, it's not just profiling these DOLs. We also add or tag important piece of information for each of these influencers. For example, looking at an influencer, I know like what are the tumor types they're specialized in. If I take, for example, Sumanta Kumar, I know Sumanta Kumar is into GU. And we also have another tag added recently that says top voice. So we know each of these influencers' specialization and their top voice in which cancer area. So these are the things that we kind of put in for each of the profiles here. So moving on to the scoring methodology, currently what you see on Clean, the TOLs are just arranged based on the activity, which is based on the number of posts or number of reactions. So this is a very simple methodology we follow till now in terms of ranking the DOLs. However, we are kind of moving on to a more sophisticated mechanism, which where we have been taking different criteria or parameters into consideration to rank these DOLs and to assign a score, which we call as overall score. So there are several things that we are considering while assigning the score, and there is a weightage mechanism that is there. The four criteria that we are looking at will be the peer survey, the social media activity, the H-index score, and the ongoing clinical trials. So we take all these things and we do a weighted score to assign or to come up with the final score for each of the DOLs. This is the work is still in progress. progress, but we made quite a good amount of progress in terms of finalizing the methodology. And hopefully, we should soon have this unique scoring mechanism added to our clean site.
Um, let's go through the weight of the different component of that score. So the
Sure.
score goes up to 100%.
Right.
And the different component, let's go through the weight of each element.
So the first one, what we picked up is a peer survey, and we are giving the maximum weightage to peer survey. So that's 50% of the overall score will be based on the peer survey. So we have these surveys that are done at various levels, and based on the score that based on the survey responses, what we are getting, we'll be assigning a score. For example, in this case, Stephen Dew, the survey results, what we have is a score of 32, and we straight away take 50% of that value to add to the overall score. So the next parameter, what we have is the social media activity, and there are several components under that. The first one is engagement, for which we assign a score of 12.5%. And the second one is the reactions or the number of posts, for which we'll be assigning another score of 12.5%. So the overall component is 25%, and the engagement and the reaction carry the weightage, equal weightage under this parameter. Then the third one is the H index score, and we are taking the data since 2019, and the weightage that we are assigning to H index score is 15%. And the last one, Bruno, we're taking the ongoing clinical trials as one of the criteria, and the score that is assigned is 10% to the ongoing clinical trials. So these are the various criteria that we have been looking into in assigning the score uh, or coming up with the final scoring for the DOLs.
Now, the top voice is really organized
Yeah.
by cancer area. So we're not saying that the top voice in general
Yes.
for cancer. What we're saying is that there are a number of cancer area where really influence, reputation, and the sharing of information takes place. And there are 8 areas. And we spend a lot of time thinking about what are they? What are the right areas? The first
Yes.
one is, well, I go in my own order, is lung. So lung is an area in its own because it's so big. Breast as
Mm.
well, GI, GU, IMHONC. Let's see if I can remember all of them. Head and neck, right? GYN.
Yeah.
These are the 7 one, and you're checking to see if I got it right. And the last one is a catch-all. It's other, right? So
It's others.
other
Yes.
specialty, other is a little bit of a weird category because we group all of the other influencers into that group. Otherwise, it would be too complicated, too complex, and too confusing. So, for example, in other, we would include people who are interested in rare tumors, people who are interested in precision oncology, people who are interested in, maybe they are trialists across all the solid tumor. We put them there too. Maybe we would even include people like Dr. Mark Lewis, a good friend of ours here, who is a very prominent community oncologist, but who shares a lot of very valuable lesson. So that's the 8th category. So we organize our universe in these 8 cancer categories. And I think that's the right approach we
Yes.
took.
That's correct.
So
Yeah.
yes, please.
Good.
I was about to say that we actually, believe it or not, are at the end of our 15 minutes. And what I want to say is that what you built with your team and the help of many people, Sandeep, Kalpana, others, is a very unique platform, Clean in general, but within that unique platform, the fact that we incorporate these 5,000, this panel essentially of 5,000 oncologists is a big part of what makes it valuable and unique. And so I'm encouraging all of the listeners to test it out and to reach out to us. And we would be glad to set up a pilot or a demo for you and to present not only that feature, but also all of the other features that we have on LARVOL CLIN. So, Sreedhar, any final words from you on this feature? And I hope we'll get you another time, by the way, on the podcast, maybe to talk about other features that you worked on with your team.
Yeah, just a closing remark, Bruno, that the scoring mechanism, as I mentioned, it's evolving. So in the coming weeks, we should see this sophisticated scoring mechanism implemented and going live on the site. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be pretty useful, and probably uh, it will be unique to Clean, and you may not find this specific data easily available in public platforms or in other platforms.
Sreedhar, thank you very much, sir. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody, for listening.